Holy shit, I just like crushed my toe under the leg of my chair. Ow! Hey guys, welcome back. First of all, if I sound a little bit funny, it's because I am just at the very tail end of a cold. Second of all, yes, I did finally buy the Urban Decay All-Nighter Foundation. So that is going to be this coming Friday's review. Hit that thumbs up button if you're excited. But today I'm going to be testing out the Josie Maran Vibrancy Argan Oil Foundation. The past couple foundations I tried were quite drying, and the Accutane dryness is finally starting to set in now, so I wanted to mix it up, and I remembered I had this little sample pack of this foundation, so that's why I'm testing it out today. The full size does retail for $55 Canadian or $45 US, and you get the standard 1 fluid ounce. The packaging on this is beautiful. You can see it here. It's like super colorful. It has a pump, and I believe the lid is like rose gold. It is available in 14 different shades. I did not have a lot of selection to choose from in here, so I'm going to be using the shade Euphoric, which on Sephora it was described as light skin tones with neutral undertones, so I'm hoping that's gonna work. And it is supposed to have a medium to full coverage, and they say a radiant dimensional finish. It is of course formulated with pure argan oil. It is cold pressed, which essentially just means it's a very high quality form of argan oil. So it is meant to be very hydrating. It's meant to be smoothing, soothing, lightweight, breathable. They say it will energize your skin with the essential nutrients your skin craves and also restore your skin's luminosity. For application, I'm going to start off with a flat top foundation brush, and then I've heard some people say they like to start with a brush and then just press it in with the beauty blender after, so I might end up doing that. But I'm gonna clip my hair back and we're gonna get started with the application. One thing I just forgot to mention is that Josie Maran also says that this foundation is supposed to be really good for sensitive skin. I believe argan oil has a high quantity of vitamin E in it, so they say it's also good for like inflammation, rosacea, and scarring as well. Exhibit A, I don't have rosacea, but I do have really sensitive skin and obviously acne scarring. So I primed the left half of my face using the Too Faced Hangover Primer. Let me know if you guys still want me to continue doing the half face with primer. I feel like I just never noticed that much of a difference. But I'm gonna open my little sample packet here and get it on my hand. I just went ahead and dabbed that all over my face. The sample thing kind of exploded on my finger, so I didn't really have a choice. But it feels quite nice, like it has a nice thin kind of liquid consistency. And I'm just gonna go in with my Sigma F80 and just kind of start blending this in. Okay, so immediately the finish of this with the brush is not looking that great. It's really leaving it streaky. Like even when I press it in, you can see every little kind of like brush stroke in the product. It looks so funny because I just left this on my nose, but I'm going to switch to the beauty blender because this is not working for me. So that is one layer with the beauty blender. Gave an adequate amount of coverage. Definitely at this point I would consider it medium. We're gonna see how it builds in a second, but there's still my general redness peeking through on my cheeks and on my nose, and you can still see some of my acne scarring and things like that. It is quite patchy and uneven at this point. I didn't want to have to use the beauty blender because obviously oil and water do not mix, but the brush, honestly, it just looked terrible applied with the brush. And Josie Maran does recommend to kind of like press it into your skin, but like I said, even pressing it with the brush just wasn't happening. It feels really nice on my skin, but I don't think it looks that good at this point just because it does have quite a bit of luminosity. It is drawing attention to my texture issues, which just a reminder, they do say it is meant to be smoothing even though it is luminous. But I'm going to go in and see if I can build this up and even it out a little bit. That's what 2 layers is looking like. It built up okay, but not the best. I was definitely able to get some more coverage, but it just kind of ended up drawing more attention to texture, and it didn't sit well on top of itself. It definitely got a little bit cakey. It still feels nice, like it just feels like I put on argan oil. It does have kind of a funky smell though. It smells like the Josie Maran argan oil, but there's like a hint of kind of like weirdness to it. It's not a super pleasant smell, but it is already going away, so I think it should be fine. I'm really surprised by how shiny this is. Even though my skin is drier being on Accutane, it's still so shiny. Let's see. I'm assuming it's gonna transfer. Yeah, tons of transfer, definitely. My sweat is breaking through it and making it kind of gross. Right now, not looking so good. Going over with the beauty blender a second time, I think it definitely helped to make it look a lot more even and kind of consistent, but there's still like little spots where it just looks a little bit patchy. Well, that helped a little bit better. I feel like that also helped with the shine too. Maybe I just need to like continue to press it into my skin. I'm really surprised that it still looks so shiny, even being on Accutane. Like, I thought this would be the perfect time to try a more hydrating foundation because it would actually absorb and I wouldn't just look like a greasy mess, but I don't know. I think this is helping though, but it's still not like super flattering, but I'm hoping it'll look better once I powder and everything, cut down that shine just a little bit. I'm gonna zoom in and do my close-up for you guys though before I apply my concealer and everything. This is what we are working with. I think it looks okay, but honestly, at this point, it's just mediocre. All my other products applied well over top of it. I used the NYX HD Concealer and then the Cover FX Illuminating Setting Powder. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it still has like a slight bit of radiance. I think you can, like in here and everything. It's not very natural looking though. I was definitely expecting more of like a skin-like finish, but it's a very apparent makeup-y finish. It looks fine, but it's definitely not wowing me. It's kind of what I would expect from like a mediocre drugstore foundation, to be honest. At this point, I definitely wouldn't pay $55 for it. I think the most redeeming quality is that it does feel nice on my skin. Setting it with a little bit of powder obviously definitely helped with the texture. It helped tone down that shine a little bit. I do wish it was a little bit more glowy. Like I said, I used an illuminating powder and I used just a tiny little bit of it, and it's more flat than I would like. It's not completely matte by any means. This is definitely a foundation I would say you need to set because I got a ton of transfer on my fingers, and setting it definitely gave it more of like a demi matte finish. If you have really dry skin, you can probably get away without setting it, but my skin apparently just still isn't at that level of dryness, even being on Accutane. It is definitely very comfortable and light, and my skin feels good. It's kind of a nice change after doing the Clean Matte BB Cream and then Dior Air Flash. Yeah, I really wasn't a fan of how it looks on its own, and more completed, it's okay, but nothing special in my opinion. But of course I will be checking in with you guys throughout the day. I'm going to try and do a midday check-in for sure today. I started applying this at 1 o'clock just for a reference, but I'm going to do my close-ups, finish off my makeup. You guys all know the drill. It starts to get really dark out. I've had this foundation on for 7 hours now, and I am very underwhelmed. Also, yes, my lips are insanely dry. They're peeling. They're disgusting. It's just part of Accutane, so just ignore it. I feel like I look like I got like botched lip injections or something. But yeah, I don't think it looks that great. It's not awful, but it's not good either. First of all, it has started to wear off along my hairline, and it's started to kind of separate on my upper lip where I've been sweating, and it has worn off around my mouth, but I think that's just because I have to apply lip balm constantly. And I don't know how much it's really going to pick up on camera, but like in these areas, I feel like it looks really blotchy, and I think it's just kind of wearing off, and the coverage wasn't amazing to start off for those like problem areas. And honestly, when you get up close, my skin doesn't even look super hydrated or like plump or anything like that. It just looks very blah. But I will check in with you guys at the end of the day and share my final thoughts. I've had this foundation on for 11.5 hours now, and I'm just gonna jump straight into it. First, I want to talk about the application. So with the brush, it looked awful. It was streaky. You could see every little mark from like every little hair on the brush, even with something as dense as the F80. So that is a big no-no. It was really just sitting right on top of my skin and not blending in at all. With the Beauty Blender, it was better, but still not great. It was just a little bit patchy and blotchy. This product really didn't build up that well. It just got a little bit funky looking when I tried to build it on top of itself, and because of that, the coverage was just okay. It was like a solid medium coverage, I would say. As for the finish and the feel of it and everything, it's really not flattering for texture. Like after I set it with powder, it kind of helped with like the pores and everything, but throughout the day I've noticed that my scarring on my cheeks is very, very apparent. Never really picks up on camera. I don't know, maybe you can tell there's a bit of rough texture in there, but it's just really minor, but it's a lot more noticeable today than it usually is, I've found, which it is more luminous foundation. I wasn't expecting anything crazy, but it does claim to be smoothing. And it does feel lightweight though. It doesn't feel oily like you would expect it to. It has worn off kind of all around the edges of my face and just separated in some areas, and like on my hairline it's like completely gone, and in the center of my forehead it's all kind of like bunched in, and there's like a lot of product there. It's got a lot of problems. I think overall it looks okay. Some of you guys are probably going to think I'm crazy, but in person it's just not cutting it at all. And to top it all off, my skin doesn't even feel hydrated at the end of the day, which to me that is the entire appeal of this foundation. My skin isn't like super parched or anything, but it just feels like I haven't put anything on my skin, and not in a good way. I can't wait to go wash this off and just like slather on the moisturizer, but yeah, it just feels slightly uncomfortable, and when you get up close it even looks quite dry on my skin and just quite dehydrated and just bleh. So I think needless to say, this foundation was a flop for me. There's really nothing about it that I'm particularly liking. It's mostly cons for this one, which is disappointing. It's definitely not worth $55 in my opinion. If I had bought the full size for this review, it would definitely be getting returned. I know some people do really like this foundation, but it was just not for me, so if you love it, no offense to you, this is just my opinion. But I hope you guys found this video helpful as always. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you do like these reviews, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. I am at SariRan on all three. I also just posted a 75,000 subscriber giveaway, so check that out. Also hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, but that is going to be it for today. I'm gonna go slather my face in my First Aid Beauty sleeping mask and go to bed. Talk to you guys in the next one. Bye guys. You guys know I've had Ipsy, I've had Birchbox, I've had Glossybox, but BoxyCharm has very quickly become my favorite by far. As always, I will have my link down below